Beneath the sapphire waves of the coral carnival reef, where sunlight danced in golden ribbons through the water, excitement bubbled from every fin, claw, and tentacle. It was the most awaited day of the year, the great Tralalero Tralala parade, the silliest and most joyful celebration in the 7 seas. Coral Carnival Reef wasn't just any reef. It was famous across oceans for being gloriously bonkers. Fish wore bow ties made of seaweed. Seahorses practiced tap dancing. Starfish played maracas. And on parade day, the whole reef transformed into an underwater wonderland of color and song. Giant turtles wore tutus. Squid juggled seashells. Clownfish zipped around blowing rainbow bubbles. Even the crabs painted their claws in neon stripes. But the most magical part? The Tralalero Tralala shell, a golden conch that started the entire parade. When it was blown, the ocean echoed with Tralalero Tralala, and the silliest, splashiest fun began. Well, almost everyone thought it was fun. At the far edge of the reef, in a quiet cave shaded by gloomy kelp, lived Finnick, a small silver fish with the grumpiest frown in the ocean. He didn't like bright colors. He didn't like loud sounds. And worst of all, he really didn't like the word Tralala. Too noisy, too bubbly, too wiggly. Finnick muttered to himself as he brushed his scales with a coral comb. I want a day of silence, soft seaweed, and absolutely no dancing lobsters. Finnick didn't understand why all these different creatures from across the ocean came to make such a ruckus. Jellyfish from the warm tropics, walruses from the icy north, even a choir of dolphins from halfway around the globe. All here, bouncing around like plankton in a whirlpool. I don't care if they're hammerhead sharks or rainbow eels, Finnick grumbled. This parade needs to be stopped. So, Finnick came up with a terrible idea. If I steal the Tralalero Tralala shell, there will be no parade, he decided. No parade, no noise, no Tralala. That night, under the light of a silvery full moon jelly drifting past, Finnick put on his stealth mode disguise. A patch of dark seaweed draped over his head. He swam quietly past snoring sea cucumbers, tiptoed or tip-finned, over snoozing clams, and wiggled up the coral tower where the golden shell rested in the care of the wise old octopus, Maestro Wigglesworth. Mine, Finnick whispered, wrapping his fins around the shell. But then, he accidentally blew into it. The shell let out a sound like a walrus hiccuping. Immediately, the reef exploded into chaos. Confetti made of rainbow algae burst into the water. Schools of fish began breakdancing in perfect circles. A choir of shrimp started singing opera. Sea anemones pulsed like disco lights. Even the whales began to waltz. And the weirdest thing? The entire reef started to float upward in a slow spiral, like a giant underwater merry-go-round. Finnick was lifted high above the coral towers by a cluster of jellyfish balloons. His tiny fins flapped helplessly. "Stop this nonsense," he shouted. But the ocean only roared with laughter. Musical notes Tralalero Tralala, swim and swirl, hurrah hurrah. Musical notes sang a passing school of angelfish. Suddenly, poof, a cloud of sparkles burst around Finnick. He looked down and gasped. He wasn't a fish anymore. He was a cupcake, an underwater cupcake, with a seaweed mustache. Oh dear," he mumbled. "I feel sweet." A kind little clownfish named Coral zipped up to him. "Are you okay, mister? You don't look very grumpy anymore. You look delicious." "I just didn't like the noise," Finnick admitted, frosting trembling. "But I didn't mean for things to get so spinny." "You know," Coral said gently, "you don't have to dance if you don't want to. But you shouldn't stop others from enjoying it. That's what makes this place special. Everyone's different, but we all share the reef." A hermit crab with a polka dot shell nodded. "Yep, respect, my dude." That's what the ocean's about. Finnick blinked. You mean, I can keep things quiet for myself, but let others have their fun? Exactly, said a jellyfish wearing sunglasses. Look around, we've got creatures from every current, every ocean, every depth. Some love noise, some love peace. That's what makes our reef the most amazing place in the sea. With a shimmer of bubbles, the spell broke. Finnick turned back into a fish, but kept his little seaweed mustache, because secretly, he liked it. He didn't join the dancing dolphins or the juggling squids. He found a quiet coral perch instead. But this time, he watched the parade with a small smile. He even bobbed his head to the beat once or twice. And when the shell's finale echoed through the reef, he whispered, almost too softly to hear, Tralalero, Tralala. The whole reef cheered. And from that day forward, the great Tralalero Tralala parade became even more special, because it celebrated not just fun and silliness, but the beauty of being different together. You don't have to love what everyone else loves. You can be quiet in a loud ocean, but let others enjoy their own kind of joy, just as you enjoy yours. That's what makes a world or a reef truly beautiful.